Have the answer. Bible Way Hibner Memorial Church of God in Christ presents Chain Breakers, this and every Sunday at 9 a.m. here on WHYL.
From the L.B. Smith Ford Lincoln Studios, Oldies 102.9 is WHYL Carlisle.
It's time now for the Real Estate Radio Guy with real estate broker John Rainville. For the next hour, you'll learn everything about national real estate topics, trends, and news revolving around Central PA. It's sponsored by GSF Mortgage Corporation, Enviroquest Inspections, and SearchHomesInPA.com. And now, here's the Real Estate Radio Guy, John Rainville.
Good morning, Pennsylvania and everybody else. Hey, Kingsley and I have a really jam-packed show for you today. And we actually have 4 tickets left for the Log-In Timber Show, which is next weekend. I think last week I told you all it was this weekend. Sorry about that. But actually one of our listeners called me and gave us back the tickets because they were going to be unable to make it. So I have 4 tickets for next week's Log-In Timber Show at the PA State Farm Show. So that's one thing. You can call in 249-1787, 717-249-1787, or you can go on to Facebook, private message me. We are streaming on my Facebook page today instead of the Real Estate Radio Guys, and we're just trying out some different equipment today and that, so we decided to go this way. So today, Kingsley, this is what we got lined up, buddy. We've got Brad Farner sitting on the line right now, and Brad is, a builder, and we've talked to him before about log homes. Brad also will build on scatter lots too, and that's becoming harder and harder to find out there, because in a lot of the developments, the big tract home builders only want to build where they can build, 50 or 100 homes. They don't want to go out to an individual homeowner who has found a lot, to build their dream home. And Brad's been doing that for many, many years. And as we know, he builds everything from traditional construction through the log homes, timber homes, and even the engineered panels, the
SIP panels.
Yeah, the SIP panels. So how are you doing this morning?
I can't complain.
Were you worried I wasn't going to be here?
Not at all. I mean, I was sitting here in the last 30 seconds, playing a game. And at the same time, I was, saying, I wonder what our show's about today. I might want to call John just in case he doesn't make it. I know we've got a lot of traffic up here in Carlisle. They've got a antique. It's like a.
Oh, they got a car auction and everything. I mean, it's a big event today.
But this is like a big swap thing, right? Where you can get all kinds of parts and stuff. This is like people come from all over the country for this.
Yep, and they're going to be auctioning off some classic cars, collector cars. Yeah, big deal today. So I think we have Brad on the line already, and let's bring Brad on and start to talk homes, and then a little bit later we're going to have the guys from Jamesfield Manor back on for a few minutes, and then we're going to be talking with John Staz as usual. So good morning, Brad. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing fine. How are you guys?
Fantastic. I know you and I spoke a little bit last night, but I thought about it on the way in today. A lot of our listeners may already own a lot, and that is something that you are willing to go and build a home on, a log home or a regular home, right?
Oh, yes, sir. That's where we do most of our building is on scattered lots.
And Brad, we were just saying it's becoming harder and harder to find, a reputable builder that's going to go out and do that on their lots, because so many of these guys seem to be going tract homes. They only want to build in their development. They only want to build the same cookie cutter home over and over again, whereas you will tell us a little bit. You'll build just about anything, right?
Oh, yes, sir. I build the log homes. I also build conventional homes, but I do a lot of the new SIP homes. They're much more efficient. But I also do remodeling additions. I refurbish log homes that need redone, restained. So we're pretty much a full service company.
So now, Brad, one of our listeners, can they come to you with their own plans? I know you have books of plans. You've got a whole lot of different things that you can build. But could they, let's say that they have something that they found online. Can they bring those plans to you?
Yes, we, like you said, we do have a lot of plans online. Most of all the plans we have online have been custom designed from other plans or people that have brought us their own layouts. We have a full design service, which is part of our package price. So we do not charge extra to redesign one of our homes or design our home from scratch.
Do you handle the actual grading of the land? I mean, do you go out, do you resurvey it? I mean, I know a lot of these lands are just raw, that they're not set up, they're not hooked into water, electric, any of that. Is that something that you start off with when you're building and or planning the home?
Yeah, myself and all the other builder dealers for Crockett Log Home own their own construction companies. We're general contractors, so we can take the thing from raw ground to finished product. And that includes the water, septic, sewers, or either septic sand mounds, that kind of stuff, or driveways, grading, seeding, everything.
So really turnkey. I mean, you can do it as turnkey as they want, and so many different types of things to build. So tell us a little bit about the Log and Timber Show. I mean, that's where you're going to be out there next week with Crockett.
Yes, this will be the third show at the farm show. Now we did the sportsman show, we did the builder show, and now we have the Log Home show. Now
the Log and Timber Show next week, that's a pretty big event. I mean, they run that all around the country, I've seen.
Yeah, it rotates around the country. It seems that the last couple of years, though, they've done it in Harrisburg. It's becoming one of their better places to run it. But it's all designed for the log and timber frame people.
And I did note that they're actually going to be offering what they call, I think, Log Home University or whatever, where they actually are going to be doing sessions so a person can find out how to pick what type of home they want, how to pick out a builder, how to pick out lots and things like that there also next week. And isn't that right, Brad?
Yes, they run that every year over there just to familiarize people that are thinking about log homes but don't really know that much about them.
Now, Kingsley was just asking me, can I bring you a plan, for a traditional home, and can you then build that as one of those SIPs homes? I mean, can they be custom built?
Oh yeah, the SIP panels can be used for any type of construction. They use them in building homes, light commercial. They're a very efficient panel. But yeah, any home can be designed to use SIP panels.
So really no design things that we can't do with it. I mean, we can do just about anything that we need to.
Yes.
Okay, and then what type of foundations do you normally put in when you're putting in one of those homes?
I primarily use superior walls. They're a very good foundation, or a poured concrete wall. Either one of them. With the superior walls, you already have the insulation value that's required for Pennsylvania code. The poured walls, we have to do a little bit more work on to insulate them to bring them up to the code. But the nice part about the superior walls is if you're going to finish your basement, it's already concrete studded out with holes drilled for your wiring. There's wood slots or metal slots, either one, on the end of the studs to screw your drywall to. So it makes a very efficient and quick basement finish.
Well, I know Kingsley's thinking about building a new home, right, Kingsley? Now, are you looking more to be in a development, or would you consider a scatter lot?
The funny thing is, it's hard when you think about when you have kids. You want the kids to be in a development, you want them to be in a neighborhood, especially depending on their age. As they grow older, I would certainly much rather have my own little lot. I would like a few acres, something that I can call my own and kind of be away but close, if that makes any sense. I would prefer a development where every single lot in there was 3 acres or so. They're very few and far between. I mean, there's a few higher end, like that, but for the most part, it's going to probably end up being a scatter lot, just because it's tough to find a lot that you want unless you're getting a cookie cutter, and that's the problem. You're going to get one side by side by side, and we've looked at just about every single builder out there in this area. And when you go, aside from, this scenario, they're almost, you go through the developments and they look all the same.
Yeah, they do. And that's the nice thing with Brad. He can definitely make sure that your home looks one of a kind.
And what's funny is my wife looks online all the time. She goes, okay, and maybe you can do this. And this is the beautiful thing. She'll be like, oh, I want that in my house. And I do the same thing. Be like, oh my gosh, look at this. Vaulted ceilings, 3-story fireplace, whatever. Everybody wants that. Don't forget about my waterfalls and whatnot.
And the volcano.
Yes. So, a lot of clients, I would imagine, come to you and say, hey, can we put this in our house, regardless of what plan we start with? I want to add this and build this or have a second floor laundry. You pretty much do that from scratch, don't you?
Yes.
So,
I've had all kinds of requests for stuff in houses, including like climbing walls.
Climbing walls?
Yeah.
Love it. That's right next to my volcano.
If you're going to have the vaulted ceiling, you might as well have a climbing wall.
That's awesome. So how does that process work with you? You sit down like with initial consultation and go over the wants and needs, and then from there kind of come up with a small design, or?
Yeah, usually what I do is the first thing I do is sit down and meet with them, find out what they want in the house, what they want the house to look like inside and outside, and their square footage that they're looking for, and then from there we go to try to find a floor plan that they like, and if they don't have, that is if they don't have one they already picked, and then we try to design everything in that they'd like, and then price it out for them.
Now is that something as part of the, there's always a segment of that process where that has to go to engineers, correct, to make sure everything's within code or that it actually is safe, that sort of thing? I mean, is that something you do, or is that something you sub out to an engineer?
Are we talking about the climbing wall?
With the climbing wall, yeah. Let's take, that's something out of the norm. So how do you handle something like that when you're trying to add it to a home?
It's a piece of art.
Good luck.
Actually, after we come up with their initial plan and we price it, if they like what we've come up with, then it goes to our engineers and architects at Crockett, and they do all that for us. It's part of the package price. Our finished plans come with the engineered stamp and everything we need for any township or borough in country, really.
So, Brad, that brings us up to an interesting point. I think a lot of people, when they think log homes, think that they just have to build, a set plan. And I know from you, they can actually design, right? They can actually get a custom design log home with you. Yes,
that's basically our primary business is custom log homes and timber frame.
Yeah, so that's a big difference, because I think a lot of the folks just figure, they've seen that on the internet anymore. There's so many kits and that, but you're really everything you really do is custom, isn't it?
Yes, we even custom cut the logs on site.
Really? Is that where all that firewood comes from for the Boy Scouts?
Yeah, yeah, that's our scrap pieces of log that I use for the bonfires with the Boy Scouts.
People in the area, Brad's known for his huge bonfire that he does every year with the Boy Scouts. I mean, Kingsley, you would like it. It's as big as a volcano.
Okay. All right. So I would like that in the backyard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, huge, huge. So, Brad, post and beam homes, is that something else now then through Crockett you're able to offer?
Yeah, post and beam home is on the same lines as a timber frame, except there is more lags and bolts holding it together. It's a hybrid basically of the timber frame home, which is timber frame home is the Morse intended, and we use pegs. There is no bolts and lags holding a timber frame together. But we can combine the timber frame, post and beam, and log homes all together. And design any parts of the home they want in timber frame or log or the post and beam to fit their price range.
Can you even work in, some of those SIPS panels or whatever?
Well, all our timber frame homes are wrapped with SIP panels, and we also use the SIP panels when needed to on roofs. We can get a SIP panel up to 12 inches thick.
Wow, what type of insulation value does something like that have?
It's R48.2.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, our 6-inch wall panels are 25, and the nice part about the SIP panels is there's no air infiltration through them. They're sealed, so it stays in R25. Like a 2x6 wall with fiberglass in, when the wind blows, you're still getting air infiltration through the R19. So it really drops it down in the final R values.
So anybody, especially if they're thinking about vaulted ceilings, cathedral ceilings, I don't know that there'd be any way to get a higher insulation value. That would seem like the perfect way to go.
That's right now. That's the best product on the market for a high ceiling like that. Yes, for any ceiling actually.
And what type of heating systems do you actually put in these nowadays?
Anything that people want. If they have natural gas, we can use natural gas furnaces, heat pumps, geothermal, oil, electric baseboard if they want it. Pretty much it's up to the homeowner what they'd like to have in it. You do a lot of wood stoves too.
Brad, someone here in the studio, they're asking what area, regionally do you build in? I mean, how far do you go?
Oh, my territory is York, around York County into the Maryland area. But I have houses from North Carolina up to upstate New York that I've built. So we travel anywhere in the country or worldwide, actually.
Wow.
And how many of these do you build in a year? I mean, is there a waiting list? How far out would you schedule, an actual
more custom
build? Right. So if we sit down today, let's say, for example, and we, go through the process, what's a typical process take as far as timing, and then when can I get on the list?
Well, from start to final blueprints to breaking ground, you're looking at probably around 4 months. So right now, I still have some openings for this year. But no, till you do it, a lot of times people will start the process now and want to build next spring. So, it's hard to say. But pretty much about 4 months from the initial meeting to final blueprints and breaking ground.
And then the construction cost is, what are we talking typically there as far as timing?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Construction timeline.
I'd say the normal log home, probably about 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
And it's something up to about 2,000 square foot, as long as it's not cut up. But so I'd say 6 months to be safe.
Okay. So we're talking, a good year, from the beginning point of the process where you're just really kind of in the infancy stage to the time that you're, getting handed the keys.
Yeah, so you can fine-tune everything,
Yeah. Okay, and that's actually not that bad. I mean, when you're talking about a custom home, log home, with the efficiency of basically a new build, a SIP home, which we've had a segment on before, which again is amazing, and even more amazing that you can do it with a log home. You see one of these sitting out there, and you think, oh, well, there's probably air, coming out, in between the logs and the cracks and, all kinds of stuff. And then
Yeah, I don't think you have to go out and chink them anymore.
I'm thinking so, yeah. They're definitely more efficient than my home, I can guarantee you that. So, yeah, it's amazing.
So, Brad, I know you said you have a few openings left, for people to do custom homes this year and get them in maybe. So that somebody might possibly, if they're pretty aggressive, still get in by the end of the year?
Oh, yes. We work, all the builder dealers work together, too. So if we need extra people to fit a house in, we pull workers from each of us, share workers. So you always have an experienced crew on the site. But if people want to build this year, we'll fit them in.
And Brad, you're what I call like a real builder. I mean, you're not just one of these guys that just sits in the office. I think people need to know that about you, that you're not afraid to swing a hammer.
No, I'm not. I've been doing it since 1979. The thing with Crockett, too, is we all are builder dealers, so we know how to build what we're selling you. We're not just salesmen that if you run into a problem down the road or want to change something, your salesman's on site 90% of the time. You don't have to go find them.
Now, do they still use hammers?
Sometimes.
Because I'm just thinking in the back of my mind, the construction of a log home isn't the same as before. There's multiple ways that these are built, right? I mean, there's different.
Well, we every 2 feet as we put the logs together, we drill and put a foot-long half-inch lag every 2 feet. It'll either be a lag or a 12-inch, half-inch spike. So yeah, there's hammers involved in the spiking. The lags are run down by impact tools.
Brad, I just got another question here in the studio. Someone's asking me, do you also do additions? Is that something that you would do, or do you strictly only build, custom homes? I mean, are you available to put an addition on?
Yes, I do additions. I do all types of remodeling: kitchens, bathrooms, additions. We can put additions on log homes that are built now. Or we can do additions on stick-built homes. Like I said, I'm a full-service company, so.
And their follow-up question was, if they do an addition, is that something that they could use those SIPS panels for? Could their addition be built with those?
Oh, yeah. I would prefer to use them, actually. They're more efficient. Sometimes it's better not to use them, but majority of the time I can use the SIP panels, yes.
Nice.
What about boathouses?
Boathouses?
You're talking Mr. Outdoor World.
We're talking custom here. I mean, can we do a boathouse?
Look,
sure.
You're talking.
Right.
You're talking to Ted Nugent. You don't know this. This man is this guy. This guy is like the ultimate hunter. Don't piss him off.
No. This is a legitimate question. Especially in Pennsylvania with all the lakes and whatnot, some people might want a boathouse.
We can do boathouses, put timber frame or post and beam porches on houses. We can take their vinyl or aluminum siding off and put log siding on and make it look like a log home.
See?
Brad, for our listeners, I got another question here that somebody just Facebooked me. Can you explain to them again what one of those SIPS panels is? How they're built?
A SIP panel is 2 pieces of OSB with an insulated polystyrene foam core to it. They're created with little balls of polystyrene and also are treated for bugs, so the bugs can't get up in it, and then they're pressed together. And then we put splines in between each one and put them together so they're airtight.
So picturing that sandwich, I mean, the OSB is an engineered like plywood piece, and that's on either side, and then we've got a foam or polystyrene sandwich in between there. So it's sort of like a huge cooler-like type wall, correct?
Yeah, that's a good analysis for it. Yeah.
I think you need to talk to him, Kingsley.
Well, I think so too. But we're in Pennsylvania. I'm sure maybe you get requests for this, but have you ever gotten requests for going back to basics as far as without having all of the technology, et cetera, for like hunting cabins, in the middle of the woods that don't have hookups, that aren't accessible to, sewer and water and the rest of that?
We can build anything anywhere. We can get into the solar stuff, wind. If they want to go off grid, whatever the people want, we can, apply to the homes. Cabins, we have some cabin packages that we've done. We had a special on one over at the Sportsman Show, and we'll have them again at the log and timber frame home. But we can fit a log home in pretty much any price range you want to go in.
Now, with regards to a hunting cabin, that we think of something that's sitting out in the middle of nowhere. You're going to visit it not as many times, obviously, as you would your normal home. So these new logs that are actually being built, what sort of differences are there today versus back in the day as far as maintenance? Do they still need the same sort of maintenance today that they used to have to be able to have? Are they treated for bugs? Do they last longer without having to worry about those issues?
Our logs come down from the mill they are kiln dried and dipped for bugs, and they don't shrink because they've already been kiln dried. So we can install windows and doors to the specs of the manufacturer. I kind of lost track of what I was saying.
And then, Brad, I think the last time when you were on, you were explaining too that you guys use northern lumber, which is harder than some of the southern species. Is that correct?
All of our logs come out of the New England states, which is a colder region, a shorter growing period. So the rings on our logs are tighter together, which makes it a harder log home. When you come down into Pennsylvania, our trees here grow a little bit faster than up there. And then as further south you go, they have longer growing season. The rings are further apart, so it makes it a softer wood. So, Brad,
our next guest that we're going to be having on the show has a development down in Lancaster, and I'm not playing Stump the Builder here, but have you ever built a historically correct or period-looking home?
Are you talking in logs?
Well, no. Well, yeah, I guess a log home would fit that, but I mean, in maybe like something that looks like it was from the mid-1800s.
You mean like a log home?
Yeah, I know. Log home. He definitely hits the log home.
I mean, you can use a brick. The historic homes are the old farm-type homes and that kind of stuff, or colonial type. Yes, I've built some. I have one right around the corner from me here that I built.
Okay, and that's something again that you have the ability, because you're custom, to build that to. If they brought you the plan, if they brought you and said, "This is what I want my outside of my home to look like," you're the guy.
Yeah, we pretty much what we don't manufacture, we have access to totally round logs, that kind of stuff to make it look like that. I just did a restored a farmhouse over Mechanicsburg. It was built in 1850, and we took that all back to original.
Nice. So next week, you're going to be out at the Log and Timber Show Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Crockett booth?
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to come out and talk to you about a log home, a timber home, custom home, they'll be able to stop out and see you there. That runs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Kingsley, and I think you should go out there and see him.
I think I'm going to have to do that. Now, originally, like I said, I was planning on this weekend. I don't know where I got that information.
Yeah, I think that was my bad information.
Yeah, so I planned my whole weekend around that. And then I get a text message last night. Oh, by the way, yeah, it's next week. So, there goes my plans to go to, France for the weekend. I was going to, head out there. But now I'll visit the Log and Timber Show. And, obviously for the people that aren't able to go to the show, what's the best way to reach you? Do you have a website, a company line? Do they call yourself? And how do they get a hold of you?
My office here in New Cumberland is, the number is 938-2028. Or they can reach me at tbfcontracting@comcast.net. And our regional office is in Mechanicsburg, and that's 1-800-566-7714.
Well, hey, we definitely appreciate having you on again. And for those of you that are thinking about building any home, let alone a log home, should really get out and visit him at the Log and Timber Show next weekend, which is running Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yep, or give him a call or email him. Brad, what was your email again?
It was tbfcontracting@comcast.net.
PBF.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Well, thank you again for calling in, and we'll hope to see you out at the show.
Yeah, thanks so much, Brad, for talking to us again about homes. We really appreciate it.
And for those of you out there that are thinking about going to see Brad, we still have 4 tickets.
We do.
So call into the show.
717-249-1787.
And we'll give away 1 pair today. How about that? 1 pair?
Well, we can give away both. It doesn't matter. It's for next weekend so they can use them.
Well, that's true. It is only a week away. All right. We'll give away 2 pairs. What the heck? So 2 pairs, call into the radio show now. In the meantime...
Well, I think, why don't you tell people a little bit about what's going on in the mortgage market? I understand that the rates have come down a little bit, and I saw something in the news, too, that they're concerned about that if the government shuts down next week because of the budget, impasse, that could actually affect people with mortgages, right? Because you may not be able to get things verified by IRS and...
Well, not only that, but you got to figure a lot of the loans that we're doing are FHA. So if the government shut down and they're not able to underwrite a lot of the files or guarantee the files or buy the loans for that matter, you could have a huge backlog, no pun intended.
So could impact just about every type of loan, really, right?
It could impact just about every aspect of the mortgage industry, let alone the people that are trying to get into homes. The people that are already into homes, technically, a lot of the mortgage companies that are out there that aren't big, they're not going to be able to clear their lines of credit, if you will, to continue on with the loans that they have in their pipeline. So
would that affect even a USDA, I guess, right? USDA,
oh, yeah.
FHA, VA.
All the bond programs. Figure out all the bond programs that are out there. We've had shows about 0% down, PHFA, Dauphin County, Cumberland County, all these programs that come in to help down payment assistance. Let's just say, for example, because we're a lender, we write our own money sometimes. So if we were to go on with, our programs and continue on to fund these loans, but we've got a lot of borrowers that are dependent on first-time home buyer assistance, $3,000 for this, or down payment or closing cost assistance, that might not be available to close the loan. So,
right.
So we're really we would limit ourselves down to just a few of the programs that we have available, like the 100%ers.
So this could actually impact people that are maybe they're supposed to settle next week. Depending on when this happens, it could actually impact some of those, or really the following week or two.
I don't think it's going to have quite an immediate impact, like I said, because you've got money, sitting there to pay for these loans. So all the ones that are in the pipeline, initially are going to roll through. Like I said, there would be a backlog of, okay, we're out of funds, and we've got all these people to, that you've got to send checks.
for all of our
buyers.
realtors that are listening, you want to make sure that you're staying on top of this, because you don't want to get caught unawares. And, I know, many of us stack homes. We'll have 3 or 4 homes stacked up in a sale. One person buying one, then moving up. So this could have a big impact on us. So don't fall asleep at the switch there for your customers.
I don't foresee anything happening. We're going to go on just like any other day. Aside from
But just in case, better be prepared.
And if we go, then that's the least of my worries.
But Boy Scouts are always prepared. So we always believe that you prepare. You hope for the best, but prepare for the worst, just so you're covered. So
do you have like a bunker like 400
no,
feet
but dude,
down?
I got a go bag. I got a go bag right on top of my dryer, man. It's ready, man, and it's right there.
And does your go bag consist of a helicopter on the roof that can away, or are you going to be stuck in traffic like the rest of us?
No, that's the go bag that I'm taking to the helicopter.
Okay, all right, I gotcha. Speaking of helicopters, we've got an exclusive neighborhood where I don't want to say it's in the middle of nowhere, but it gives you the feeling like you are in the middle of nowhere, but close to everything. And I would have to check to see if you could actually have a helicopter landing pad in that development. But it's the type of area and the type of exclusive area that we're going to be talking about here in just a minute.
Yeah, we're going to be talking with Mike McDermott. We're going to be talking about Jamesfield Manor again, and that's why I was asking Brad about the period homes. Maybe we should invite him. Mike should probably invite him next week to come down and take a look at it. But Mike, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning, gentlemen.
How are you doing?
Good. Bright and early, the sunshiny day.
So, yeah, it's beautiful. And you're in Lancaster or Millersville? Where are you at today, buddy?
I'm in Millersville, starting the day.
All right. Nice. So, tell folks what you got going on next week. And, just as an aside, I think you ought to reach out to Brad maybe, and maybe we should invite him down next week.
I think so as well. I've got his contact information. He gave a lot of good information there. Next week on Thursday, April 27th from 6 to 8, we're having a little, like a broker's open house on the property itself. It's kind of unique. It's not going to be like, there's no homes that we're going to sit around in anybody's living room. But on one of the lots, the 20-acre parcel, we've got a beautiful pond and a wharf already built. So we'll have a little event there where folks can, come and check out the property. There's 7 different lots at the hills of Jamesfield Manor, ranging from we just listed a new one last night at $155,000, so that's got a much lower price point for entry, and that's an 1.5-acre lot, and they run up to 20.29 acres. You'll be able to talk with the developer. We'll be able to talk with a lender. We're going to have a few builders there. We'll have refreshments. And they've actually got a couple golf carts that we're going to have on site that they have, so we can take a little tour of the property. It's a real unique concept. There's 7 building lots in Rappo Township. It's probably the last development that's going to be allowed in that township, because they've changed some regulations that if they're going to develop any more farms, they have to have a minimum, I believe, of 55 acres per house. So they're really tight on their controls there.
55 acres per house.
Yeah, yes, for any new development of any farms that they have currently.
I heard Kingsley's looking for a lot.
Pardon?
I heard Kingsley's looking for a lot.
He's trying to push every lot there is on the face of the planet to me.
We've got a good 20-acre for you, Kingsley, with the pond on it. You can go bluegill fishing every morning.
Now, is that the smallest lot you have down there in that development?
The smallest lot is 1.5 acres.
Okay, well that's a little bit smaller. So you've got a nice little range then. 3.5, maybe 5 acres.
Yeah, most of them are about 2.5 acres, and then the large one is at 20 acres. The neat thing about the small one that we just added on is that's got about 350 feet of stream frontage right near Meadow Road. There's Brubaker Run, I believe, that runs through the development. So that'd be a nice little feature as well. And we're only 4 miles east of 283, 15 miles south of Hershey. So anybody that's got, medical professionals that are looking for, an exclusive little estate, it's a wonderful place because it's within the required driving distances for, on-call surgeons and things like that from not just Hershey, but Lancaster as well. So it's right ideally right between Hershey and Lancaster. And
probably for the doctors at the Lebanon VA hospital too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty good location.
Real nice location. Yep.
So now, Mike, we've talked about Jamesfield Manor before. The other lot that you have, is that also need to be built to period correct standards?
It's a little looser restrictions because this was one of the lots from the first phase. Now, the first phase kind of the covenants call for a period reconstruction home of anything in the northeast. So, we're talking you could go back to wood, you could go clapboard, you could do a Nantucket, Cape Cod style. So that's wide open. Whereas the second phase, the hills at Jamesfield Manor, is more period specific to the Cape Cod or Nantucket style that they'd like to see there.
Okay, so on the new lot that you just got that's in the first phase, we're probably looking at a lot and home package somewhere in the $500,000, $600,000 range.
I'm thinking right around $600,000 you could get in depending on your plans. The livable square footage in that phase is 2,500 square feet, but that's livable square footage. So I believe if you had a finished basement, that would qualify. So you don't have to have a huge footprint.
Okay, so back to your open house next weekend. Broker open. It's from 6 to 8. And what would be? You're going to have signs up, I know that. But what's sort of the address for that?
We could look at 30. Let me get the physical address because sometimes Google doesn't like them. So 3461 Echo Valley Road will bring you right up to the front wooden gates of the property.
Okay, so that's good. And it's going to be from 6 to 8. And I know you're inviting a lot of brokers out, a lot of high-end homeowners are going to be there. Kingsley's going to be there because he needs to check out that 20-acre lot.
I do. And I will be there to answer any questions people have about, financing or building, if you will.
Another nice thing about this is all of the hardscaping and the landscaping that they've done to hide the modern utilities is just incredible. You can hardly see where the where the stormwater runoff is or the underground electrical post. That's all well hidden by the developer, who also has one of the best landscaping companies in Lancaster County.
And I was gonna ask you, Mike, that what type of lots are we talking? Are these wooded lots? Are they all? I mean, is it cleared? Is it rolling hills?
They're cleared into the rolling hills. Got some nice south faces to some hills, just to the south. So they're rolling green hills, gentle rolls with you got the little Brubaker run running through there. It's a fantastic property, beautiful views to the south.
Now, Mike, I know you have some drone videos and some videos from driving those around. Maybe if you can shoot those to me, we'll add them to our website for you here over the weekend. But if somebody wants to contact you directly about the lots or, to get some information off the web, what's the best way for them to get that?
The real easy way is if they text the word HILLS, HILLS, to the number 79564, and that's really cool. It'll send everything right to your smartphone. All the information on the development. You can always give me a call at 717-874-7771. It's my direct dial number. I'd be happy to talk with anybody about that.
Fabulous. So HILLS to 79564.
To 79564. That is correct.
And then that'll give them all the information right there on their phone, and that way they'll be able to find you.
And will that have the information on the open house next week as well?
It is. That's on there as well. Yep.
Perfect.
It'll have directions, time and a little bit about the community.
Perfect, and we should get that on our Facebook page as well.
We will.
We'll get a link up for those of you that are trying to figure out how to get there. And we'll have a link next week, obviously, to remind everybody. But it is Thursday between 6 and 8. Is that correct?
That is correct. And, we'll have refreshments and...
I think, I don't know who's out there listening this morning, but I think you and I have talked prior that we might want to bring, a builder out, if at all possible, to get some information and or ideas as to what sort of homes that could be built on that lot, correct?
Agreed. And a nice thing about this development is they like to use the energy-efficient green system. So, it's very eco-friendly.
So, Mike, just real quick here before we go. So, any builder could come out there and talk to you next week about, becoming a builder for a home or several homes on those lots?
That is correct.
Okay, so we're not locked into a builder. So,
yeah, so this is perfect for, Brad, Log and Timber. There's plenty of upper homes out there, builders that are out there that I think would
Steve Gladwin from S&G. There's a lot that we should be getting out there for him.
Mark might want to go out and visit. Mark McNaughton. There's I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that already have builders that they're thinking about, but this is kind of the perfect, I don't want to call it a scatter lot, but
no, these are like the ultimate scatter lot.
This is like the ultimate scatter lot where you've got, this is kind of almost what I was saying. You almost have a development going on, but you're far enough away that you don't have to, look into your neighbor's bathroom window in the morning.
That's right. And they won't see on the other side of your volcano.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can have horses, estate animals, sheep. There's actually a small herd of Scottish Highland cattle that live on the property. They're just so cool to look at.
That's very cool.
You could be that one guy to move in and buy a whole thing of roosters.
All right, well, I can guarantee that Kingsley and I are going to be out there to see you. Hey, you know what? Maybe we'll try. If we have Wi-Fi a good enough signal, maybe we'll do a live. Maybe we'll do a live Facebook broadcast.
We'll do a live feed. We'll do a Real Estate Radio Guys feed. There you go.
I like it.
All right, man. You have a great weekend. Hey, thanks.
Gentlemen, thank you.
All right, so we have...
we got plans for next Thursday night?
We got plans for next Thursday night. Wow, see, I have no social life, so I'll have to, put that in there. Okay, so we are on to a jam-packed rest of the day. We've got John Staz.
Yep.
John, are you on?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. All right, is the window down?
You know what? He scammed us last week. He told us that he was, wearing SpongeBob, watching SpongeBob in his home. You know what? Then he texts me a picture at the pool in New Orleans.
Are you serious? You serious?
Yeah.
I'm serious.
You were on vacation last week, and that would have been a perfect Where's Waldo segment.
I know, but he didn't. We would never have guessed.
I didn't know, but we could have given away John's car for that.
But if he would have told us he was in his pool, hey, look, I'm swimming outside in my pool. Where do you think I am? We would have known it wasn't here.
We would have known it wasn't in New Orleans, too. Or we wouldn't have thought that. So,
with a heated pool.
Are you still in New Orleans, or are you in Paris this weekend?
No, it's just a short vacation, so.
All right. So how you doing today?
Good. How's everything going there? Interesting show. I was listening. Real interesting today.
Yeah. Hey, you know Brad, don't you? You've probably known him for years, right?
Yeah, I do know Brad. Yep.
Yeah, he's local to us. He's down there. He's one of the northern York County hillbillies with us.
So what do we got going on today?
Wanted to talk a little bit about basement slabs. We get a lot of questions during home inspections. People have concerns. So the first thing to talk about that's frequently done in this area is what's called a floating slab. And what that is basically when they pour the basement slab, they leave about a 1-inch gap between the wall and the slab. And a couple reasons that builders will do this. One is to allow the slab to expand and contract to help reduce the amount of cracking through the slab. It's one thing the builders always try to do. People get a crack in their slab, they can call the builder. So builders are always looking at ways to reduce cracking in a slab. So by having that gap, it allows, with the change of seasons for the slab to expand and contract and reduce the amount of cracking. A secondary reason they install those is so if water comes in the wall, a lot of times they say, hey, there's a channel there so the water can go around. It won't flood your basement. It'll go through this channel and go to the sump. So that's a second thing that they tout the benefit of these floating slabs. The downside of them is by leaving that gap, it's exposed to spoil, so it can allow radon. If you're in a radon-prone area, it can allow the radon to come in. So actually, when we install radon systems, a lot of times we end up filling those up, and that creates some tension. The homeowner's like, well, my builder told me that was for drainage. And it's sort of a catch-22 situation where we need to seal it to reduce the radon and get the vacuum we need for the radon system to work.
So wait. The gap around the outside, I always thought it was just like I thought it was always just for water, and I always thought it was concreted in. So that's actually dirt?
Well, yeah, they can, depending on the builder, sometimes they will go ahead and fill that in with like a flexible sealant, but a lot of times that goes right down to the dirt. It's like a 1-inch gap, and you can reach your hand down in there and feel the dirt and stone under the slab.
Wow. So basically, snakes and crabs and everything else can just crawl right up in there into your house, huh?
Yes, it's open to the outside. Yep, it's open to the dirt. So.
Wow. All right. See, I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. And I would imagine no matter what sort of breathable insulation that you would put into that gap then would, like you said, allow radon to pass up, being that it's a gas.
Yeah.
Now, is there...
We use either like a polyurethane-based sealant, or we can use, if it's a real wide gap, we can use like a closed-cell foam. The closed-cell foam won't allow the air to pass back through.
Okay, and that would still be, pliable, if you will, for expansion and contraction of the slab, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of like a best scenario for the whole thing, or you're still getting the water drainage, I'm assuming. You can still leave kind of a gap down below, and it's also capping off any sort of issues with radon.
Yeah. It does create some consternation. We go to install a radon system, and people are hesitant to let us seal that, so we have to explain that it's like a catch-22 situation where we can't get the radon level down unless we seal that. So.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you're fixing both issues no matter what.
Well, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Now, is there a way for you to, and I don't know if you've done this before, but is there a way to actually test for radon in an area before a home's built to know whether or not that system is, reasonable for that area?
Can't really do that for this reason. The radon is something that builds up in the home due to the house being sealed up. So in order to properly test for radon, you have to wait till the house is completed, or at least the insulation and doors and windows, HVAC system is up and running to get an accurate test.
But John, I think what Kingsley was asking is, there's some areas that are more prone to it, right? I know around here
that are more prone to it, and so yeah, there's a higher. If you're in a radon-prone development where all your neighbors have systems, there's a higher chance you're going to need one. But you do get situations where the house next door has it, this house doesn't. Both due to maybe how the house is situated in the hillside or the geography, and number two, like building techniques such as putting a vapor barrier under the slab. Those can reduce the amount of radon that enters the home. So just because your next door neighbor has it doesn't mean you're going to have it. You need to test after it's under roof, under HVAC, doors and windows installed.
Hey, John, I'm going to switch gears on you a little bit. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about outside concrete, like a concrete patio. What is it worthwhile I see there's concrete stain. Does that help them be any more durable, or is it just aesthetics? Is it just looks?
Yeah, depending on the stain that's used, the concrete has pores in it, and anything that seals those pores up will reduce water getting into the concrete, help the surface to last longer. Depending on the type of concrete, those do help depending on what products you're using.
Squirrel. All right, so.
What did somebody say they don't do?
No. Kingsley's saying I'm a little bit ADD. He said he's just laughing because it's like I saw a squirrel go running across and it took my attention.
So
okay, yeah.
The foundations. Does it matter how deep these are poured? I mean, your typical slab is how deep. I mean, there's a code, right, for how deep the slabs have to be poured for homes. But does it make any difference for any of the drainage or radon or anything if it's poured an extra foot deep?
Yeah. The biggest thing is preparation before it's poured to make sure, for example, there's adequate stone, the right type of stone. Just to give you something that can happen. We see it when we do home inspections. Let's say they don't use the right type of gravel or they have sand under the slab. What that'll do is actually water will, through capillary action, will wick it up and heave, and like somebody's punching the bottom of the slab and cause it to.
All right, John.
Heave the slab.
I hate to do this to you, but what's the best number for you? Give me a phone number.
Sure, it's 717-233-6144.
And website?
evqharrisburg.com.
All right, well, I hate to rush you off, but we're giving the signal here, and thanks for coming on. We had Brad on, we had Mike on. Get out to the log show next week, which we'll talk about. Get out to the open house. We'll have all this information up on our Facebook page.
Real questions, real answers from real people.
Have a great day.
The broadcast